Welcome to the IBJJF online rules course.
This video will be discussing severe fouls. Fouls are disciplinary or technical infractions addressed in the rules that are committed by athletes before, during, or after a match. In the next sequence of videos, we will be showing you many situations in which an athlete will be disqualified from a severe foul. The first severe foul is when the athlete's gi is rendered unusable and are unable to exchange it for a new one within a period of time stipulated by the referee. When an athlete deliberately flees the match area to avoid submitting to a hold applied by their opponent. When being attacked by a submission hold, the athlete commits a penalty that obliges the referee to interrupt the match. When an athlete intentionally attempts to get their opponent disqualified by reaching in a way that places the opponent in an illegal position. When it comes to the referee's attention that an athlete is not wearing an undergarment under their uniform as outlined in item 8.3.10 of the rulebook. When an athlete applies creams, oils, gels, or any slippery substance to any part of the body. When the athlete utilizes any substance that increases the adherence in any part of their body, or when the athlete utilizes any substance that makes the kimono slippery for gripping. When the athlete strangles their opponent with one or both hands around the opponent's neck or applies pressure to the opponent's windpipe using the thumb. When an athlete blocks the passage of air to the opponent's nose or mouth using their hands. When the athlete is defending a single leg takedown, while the athlete attacking has their head outside the opponent's body, intentionally projects the attacker to the ground by grabbing the opponent's belt to make them hit the floor with their head. Suplex movements that will project or force the opponent's head or neck into the ground.
The next sequence of techniques will show moves that are illegal at all belt levels in the gi and will result in an immediate disqualification.
To view the entire table of moves and see which techniques are illegal for a specific division, please visit section 6.2.2, Article M in the rules book at ibjjf.com.
Number 16. Heel hooks. Number 17. Locks twisting the knee. Number 23. Scissor takedown. Number 19.
When applying a straight footlock, turning in the direction of the foot not under attack. However, if the opponent initiates the turn, the athlete is allowed to follow. For brown and black belts, all categories, if the athlete attacks their opponent's foot and turns to the side of the unattacked foot, the referee will not stop the fight and no penalty will be applied for this movement.
Number 20.
In a toe hold, applying outward pressure on the foot. Number 24. Bending fingers backwards.
There is no restriction on the use of the following techniques for no-gi, brown and black belts in the adult division. Number 16. Heel hooks. Number 17. Locks twisting the knee. And number 18. Knee reap. Number 19. In a straight footlock, turning in the direction of the foot not under attack. Number 20. In a toe hold, applying outward pressure on the foot.
Now let's explain knee reaping. The reaping knee situation is characterized by when one of the athletes places their thigh behind the leg of their opponent and passes their calf on top of the opponent's body above the knee, placing their foot beyond the vertical midline of the opponent's body and applying pressure on the outside of the opponent's knee inward, while keeping the foot of the leg at risk, stuck behind their hip and armpit. It is not necessary for one of the athletes to hold the foot of their opponent in order for the foot to be considered caught or stuck. For purposes of this rule, when one athlete is standing and bearing their weight on the foot of the same leg as the knee in danger, the foot will be considered caught or stuck. Here's an example of a serious foul knee reap. When the athlete executes the movement in the characteristics previously mentioned, moving their foot across the vertical midline of the opponent's body, the referee will stop the match, return the position if permitted, and issue a penalty to the athlete before restarting the fight. Now here are examples of severe foul knee reaps. When the athlete executes the movement in the characteristics mentioned with their foot completely crossing the opponent's body limit.
It will be considered a trapped foot when the athlete turns inside from the 50-50 guard and their opponent is stepping on the ground with the foot that is in the guard at the beginning of the turn. Attention! There is no irregularity when the bottom athlete turns inwards without reaping the opponent's knee.
When either of the athletes have a submission hold, it will be considered a severe foul for the athlete crossing their foot in the characteristics mentioned previously. There is no irregularity in positions where the foot is not stuck and when the athlete's leg is crossing below the opponent's knee, as previously mentioned. With that being said, the referee will not interfere in a situation where an athlete crosses the leg over the opponent's knee while the foot is free. The athlete is allowed to attack the opposite foot.
For purple belt athletes and below, when two athletes are seated with their legs crossed but in a legal position and one of the athletes stands up, this causes the opponent on bottom to be in an illegal position. This is because when standing up, the foot that was loose and now stepping on the ground is considered a trapped foot. In this situation, the referee must stop the fight, then place the athlete on bottom in a sitting position and the athlete on top standing at a sufficient distance to allow new grips and then continue the fight. If the situation occurs after a sweep, the referee must wait 3 seconds to define the stabilization. Then, in sequence, stop the fight, award 2 points for the athlete who is on top, place the athlete on bottom in a sitting position, and the other athlete in standing at a sufficient distance to allow new grips, and continue the fight. For brown and black belt athletes, the referee will not interrupt the fight. No penalty will be applied exclusively in this case.
If you have any questions or concerns regarding severe fouls, visit ibjjf.com/rules.